of last year, Dominion sent in a seismic closure plan we've referred to before. The issue you pointed out with the exceedances and ground motion basically were caught by the staff, of course, and the staff has asked many RAIs regarding the specific site-specific seismic activity and the seismology in general, and Dominion is in the process of resubmitting documents for staff approval that Vlad, who you've spoken with, he's a seismologist, is going to review in coordination with Jim Zhu's group, the gentleman I'm sitting with now. So you're on target, and Dominion is resubmitting documents to reassess the whole site-specific seismic environment. That kind of answers your first 2 points. But the fact is, some of the documentation has been submitted, and a big chunk of it came in a letter dated today, 2/23/15. The review of this new information is just getting underway. We're not sure where it's going to end up, but the points you made and the information you saw that seemed troubling is the same information the staff caught on to early last year, and we've asked many questions. One of the questions that was asked was specific to the fuel assemblies. They're considered a component, I believe, at least from my point of view, and one of the reviewers here, who's not in the room, asked a specific question about how the fuel assemblies can survive with the site-specific seismic activity that is known to be experienced at the North Anna site. So that's a question that has not been resolved yet, but we were on top of that one as well. So that's why this review is going on for so long, and why there's new information being submitted by Dominion currently. Does that answer your concern?
Well, a little bit. Obviously, I'm not privy to seeing the information that's being given to y'all on that. So, but yeah, it definitely feeds right on into, obviously the end of September when they went to refuel, they found those 2 damaged fuel rods and are saying that it's because of jet baffling. And how do we know that the earthquake didn't do damage to that fuel, because that fuel was in the reactor during our earthquake? So, I mean, there definitely are some concerns there. But I also wanted to mention that I want to know why Fermi 3's LC is different from North Anna's LC, dealing with the explosively actuated valves.
What is LC?
License condition.
Well, there's no license conditions for North Anna just yet, and it's likely that North Anna's license conditions will mimic Fermi's because it's the same plant that's being built, and that's far ahead of where we are. As far as the conditions of any fuel removed, that also is a different design. North Anna units 1 and 2 are completely different than the design we're considering right now, and it's not, with all due respect, not relevant to what we're reviewing.
Well, I guess my question would be is why is North Anna 3 not wanting to use the explosively actuated valve? I mean, is that a safety and defense mechanism?
You mean the squib valve?
Squib valves, yeah.
Yeah, the
squib valves, yes.
The squib valve is part of the ESPWR design.
Yeah, there are
standard design, and North Anna is referencing ESPWR standard design. So that should be part of the standard design.
So whatever ESPWR includes, North Anna Unit 3 will include by default, just by using that design.
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's not what I've read. I've read on some of the documents that Dominion doesn't want to use those valves. And including on a meeting, they discussed this earlier about having a problem with those valves. And when I asked about them, I was told that those valves are being developed. So, I mean, is North Anna 3 going to follow the design of that plant, or are they deviating from that too?
No, I don't think they're deviating from...
I don't expect that there's going to be any deviations from that level. What the group assembled here is a seismic group. Talking about squib valves, you're getting into more of reactor systems and components and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Dominion has any comment, you're not obligated to respond, Dominion, but if you'd like. I guess not.
Okay, well, then I guess I just have one last request. Well, actually, I have two. One is I still would like to see a detailed map of the North Anna facility with 1, 2, and the proposed 3, showing all the known fault lines, including the newly recorded one that was unknown before, the Quail Fault. Well, actually, they call it the Quail Fault Zone. So I'm not sure exactly what that entails. And Perry, being that your background is a mechanical engineer, I guess you can appreciate my next question would be, I'd like to see a document that has every piece of safety-related equipment stating its natural frequency. Every pipe, fuel assembly, valves, etc. Because it sounds to me that it's just kind of like, are we just expecting the walls to stand up in a major earthquake, or are y'all just kind of piecemealing it together, or generally speaking? I mean, where can I find that information?
I would defer to Dominion on either of those. If the detailed map or a document that includes all safety-related equipment and its natural frequencies is something that's normally submitted as part of the application or that's been requested by the staff, it would need to be submitted. But I can't say that anything like that's been requested. I don't know, Erica, that your request would be honored or Dominion is obligated. If a staff member here wanted information like that, then it would have to be supplied or at least made available for them to review in most cases. I don't know if that's happened yet, and if there's any plan to just naturally, as part of the application process, submit such documents. And again, I'll defer to Dominion if they care to comment, but there, again, there's no obligation. This public comments are for staff to respond to. Anything, Dominion?
Harry, this is Gina. I think it's probably might be more appropriate for someone in Jim Sue's group or the mechanical group to talk about it, but we have not, the guidance and the regulations don't require that level of detail, and we have not submitted anything that is that specific, but we have submitted the documents that are required per the regulations and the guidance documents you issue, and in response to any RAIs that you have sent to us.
Thanks, Gina. Eric, I really can't add any more to that. I mean, there are documents you may be interested or certain angles you want to approach. There's technical staff here at the NRC who I've been involved with license renewal and now new reactor licensing. I sit in on phone conferences that I don't understand, and again, I do have a mechanical engineering background, and I'm glad to know these people are seeking answers for every question they have, and it's a confidence I have. Compared to members of the public such as yourself, we are government, we're bureaucrats, but we all are members of the public in every other way, and we have a job to do, and we're trying to do it very thoroughly here. We're not a partner with Dominion or any of the applicants, and we ask and receive information we need to make a safety finding, and that's the bottom line. You've probably been involved or listened in on ACRS meetings before. The ACRS group will ask questions perhaps similar to what you're asking. They'll call the staff to task on any issue they care to talk about, and if there wasn't a thorough review and a thorough analysis by a staff member, then the review is basically what do you call it? I can't think of the proper word, but the HRS will come down against the staff review and the conclusions and say so to the commission. Once in a while that may happen, but the staff knows there's the HRS doing that sort of review of the staff evaluation. So if a certification is made or a license is issued, we are pretty sure that there's no holes in the review, and everything that needed to be reviewed was reviewed.
Well, I appreciate that, Perry, but, I go back to where I began, and that was a specific horizontal and vertical seismic response vector exhibiting exceedances. And I don't know how you're going to correct that other than Dominion plugging in whatever numbers they want to plug in that looks good. With the ongoing disaster, 3-core meltdown in Fukushima obviously represents the most severe case. But we're already dealing with North Anna 1 and 2, where their design basis was exceeded. So we don't know how much more that site can take, even if it's a smaller earthquake. So, of course, I have my concerns. But I'll go back to that again. Why doesn't Dominion produce a map that shows the facility and the proposed location and with all the different fault lines and stuff in correlation to the plant so we know what it looks like? And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Good conversation. I'm glad you're as informed as you are, and it's a challenge responding to some of your questions, and please take that as a compliment. Any other questions or comments from members of the public?
Yes, Michael Keegan with Don't Waste Michigan regarding the Fermi plant. The lessons learned. They're going to do validation at low hertz and high hertz. What about the mid-range? If I recall, the mid-range was what was problematic at the Fermi 3. So the low and the high, yes, but you got to have that mid-range in there. So please review that. Also, I have concern about how will 8 million pounds of water respond in an earthquake event at these low, mid, and high ranges. So those are my recommendations. Nip it in the bud.
Thanks, Mr. Keegan. You're not looking for a response. You're just making recommendations for the staff to focus on?
Yeah, you've got to look at that mid-range point.
Thanks very much. Anybody else from the public have any comments?
My name is Marvin Lewis, member of the public. I'm up here in Pennsylvania. And, I got a question for you, Bill. But you can take his comments. Namely, I was a bench chemist. I ran a lab. But every once in a while, when a truck driver wasn't around or a tech wasn't around, I had to go out there. And when I got a new test in, I had to do it. So I'm pretty much aware of what it takes as far as sampling. And I hear a lot of paperwork going over there, and you seem to be doing a lot with the paperwork, but it leaves me with a question. It goes all the way back to Yucca Mountain. At the time of Yucca Mountain, what the samplers did is take a bunch of samples, throw it in a pickup truck, and lose chain of custody which sample is which. And I'm just hoping that you do follow some quality control in your sampling of soils and whatever, and also laying out these fault lines and what have you, which was not done at Yucca Mountain, which was not done at Fukushima, which was not done in South Korea. Luckily, South Korea, nobody went to jail, but we'll see what happens at Yucca Mountain in Japan. That seems to be ongoing. And I'm just making a suggestion you look at the actual people going out in the field, people throwing the samples on the pickup. I don't need a repeat of Yucca Mountain, Korea, or Japan. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Lewis. Thanks for your comment. Anybody else from the public care comment before the meeting's adjourned? That being the case, I appreciate everybody's time and patience with the staff here. And again, apologies for the long pauses, but this, again, is the first seismic-specific conference call or public meeting we've had in some time. And we'll end the meeting at 3:17 p.m. Thanks again for your attending. Take care.